Today we're going to be looking at subtracting multiples of 10. This really is a mental math strategy, but what we're going to do is represent that in some pictures on a 100 chart to just explain that mental thinking that does go on. So my problem on this first one is 70 minus 30. So I want to do that if then thinking and make sure that I explain that clearly. So you should know a lot of our basic math facts by now. So I can say if I know 7 minus 3 is, what is 7 minus 3? Well, I know 3 plus 4 is 7. So 7 minus 3 is 4. I can't just stop right there and only write that. If I know 7 minus 3 is 4, then I can know that 70 minus 30, sorry about that, 30 is 40. Right, so if I know 7 minus 3 is 4, then I know 70 minus 30 is 40. I don't want to see on someone's paper 7 minus 3 is 4 and nothing else, because 7 minus 3 is 4 is a different problem than 70 minus 30. It helps us to understand 70 minus 30, but we've always got to come back to the original problem. So what you might do if you had written that on your paper, I know 7 minus 3 is 4, then you write that word, then. So if I know that, then I'm going to know this. But you've got to include this part on your paper. Let's look at this on the 100 chart and how we could go about checking this out on our 100 chart. So one thing I like to do with subtraction is I like to box off the whole part that we're working with, because in subtraction right here, we've already got our whole. So I know that the whole amount I have is 70. So I'm just kind of boxing off 70 because I'm not using any of this down here at all. That is not part of my problem. So I've got my 70 and I'm taking away 30. Well, I could do that two ways. I could mark off 30 from the bottom, but what I like to usually do is mark it off from the top. So I'm going to get actually my highlighter pen to show you what I'm talking about. So here we go. So I know that I already have 30 because that's the amount I'm taking off. So there's 10, 20, 30. Now I'm going to switch colors. So what I want to know is what's left. What's the difference? That's what subtraction is. What's the difference between the 70 and the 30? Well, it's what's left. 10, 20, 30, 40. So the difference is 40, which is exactly what I've done right here. So those are two simple strategies. If then, like I said, if this is showing your work, if I ask you to show your work, well, guess what? What you would write is, if I know 7 minus 3 is 4, then I know 70 minus 30 is 40. You can also show your work on that 100 chart for me. Let's look at another example. All right, so we are going to do a different problem this time. Again, it is a multiple of 10. A multiple of 10 means your number ends in a 0, and it's one of these numbers we can find right here on the 100 chart when we get to 10 and go up to the next set of 10. So my problem is going to be 80 minus 20 equals. So go ahead and think about your statement earlier, mental math. Let's do that. Let's do the if then. If I know. If I know what? 8 minus 2 equals 6. Now I've got to finish that statement. You cannot just write that because you've not answered my problem. Then I can do 80 minus 20 is 60. Also, I don't mind, go ahead and write that answer down, type it down. But then if I say show your work, I need you to show me something. So we're going to look at another strategy. So we've done our 100 chart. We're going to come back and do that Also want to show you a number line, and there's different ways to go about a number line also. So let's go back to the pen, and I'm going to put my number line here. And I like to do my number line where I'm showing you the distance between 80 and 20. It's real easy to put 80 and jump back 20. You are welcome to do that. I will show you the strategy Miss Lambert uses. So also, if I say show your work, this is another strategy you could use, would be a number line. So my whole is 80. This is my whole amount. I already have the 20 part. So what's the distance between these two? Well, I'm at a number that ends in a 0, so I can do 10 jumps. So let's count by tens. I'm at 20. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So look at those jumps. Now I've got to figure out, well, how many jumps did I count? And I'm going to type this in here because I think it'll be a little bit quicker. So what did I actually do? I did a plus 10 and a plus 10, a plus 10. And those are going to get a little bit crowded. Let me back that one up. Plus 10, plus 10, and one more plus 10. So I took those plus 10 jumps right there, and then I can count how many of those I did. So when I count those up, there's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. That again shows me the same answer, 60, because I jumped 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So that's one strategy. With the multiples of 10, it's so simple. Usually we stick to our if I know this, then explaining it, or we can go to that 100 chart. Again, I'm going to show you with the highlighter. So let's get my number. What is my whole? My whole amount's 80. So let's just take this and box that off around our chart because we do not need the whole chart. We only need the 80 part, and we don't want to get them mixed up. What's the part we already have? We have 20. So we're separating that 20 out. And how much is left? What is the difference to get to 80? So there's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Why am I counting by tens? Because there are 10 squares going across each row. So it is 60. So those are some different strategies that you can use to think about subtracting your multiples of 10. I'm going to show you one more strategy. We're not even going to look at the 100 chart this time, even though it's on our page. We're just going to bypass it. So my problem is 50 minus 30 equals. Well, let's go ahead. Do you know that mentally? I sure hope you know that answer. What do you think it is? I knew that. Why did I know it? I could say if I know 5 minus 3 is 2, then I know, let me go back and capitalize that. Then I know 50 minus 30 equals 20. All right, so there you go. Well, what about that picture model? We haven't really shown that, but that is absolutely a wonderful strategy. You can draw them. I could pull in our our tens and ones, but I'm just going to draw it. So 50 is my whole. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. How many am I taking off? Yes, I'm taking 30 off. So let's X out 30. 10, 20, 30. Now look how many's left. I have a 10 here and a 10 here. That is 2 tens. 2 tens is 20. 20 is the same answer I got above thinking about my if-then strategy. So think about the strategies you have. If Miss Lambert asks you to show your work, you can explain the if then thinking, but I expect you to explain the whole thing. You can use a 100 chart to show me your work. You can use a number line to show me your work, and you can also just use a picture model to show me your work and your thinking.